We've got two of my favorite things in this video. We've got the Chargers running deep cross off of play action, and we've got them running the same play from two different looks. I'm Andrew Weidinger. I was a member of coaching staffs in the NFL for 11 seasons. If you like this video, do me a favor, hit like and subscribe. It really helps out. Okay, back to the tape. From the top, you'll see Chargers in the 2x2, motion the receiver from outside in. He's going to help chip the end. Herbert gets into the gun. We'll talk about why he does that in just a second. Deep cross, two versions of the play. One where you go from the boundary back to the field. We've obviously seen this play run already. They're going from the field back to the boundary. And when you do that, usually one of three primary routes you see on the backside. One of those is a go route, the go route best against one high man coverage, safety in the middle of the field. You've got a press man corner right there. Quarterback likes the matchup. He's going to let that thing rip, trusting his man to win one-on-one. The next primary route you see is a big post, and a big post at its best against quarters coverage. So you've got a safety sitting inside that post. That post wants to establish leverage on the corner, get him stuck on the outside. And if this safety steps down, the quarterback can throw it over his head to this big post who's got the corner stuck on his outside, can throw that thing towards that middle of the field. Your guy can run and get it, and the corner is stuck. There's nothing he can do about it. And now the route we're going to see right here, this is a pylon route. They're going to stem down into the alley, that space between the hash and the numbers, and then take a high angle out, and they'll use landmarks, typically the pylons in the end zone, based on where you are on the field. Those are your landmarks for where you come out on this pylon route. We would say that the pylon route was best against cover two. You get that cloud corner down here. Well, you push past him, and all of a sudden, that's a lot of lines. All of a sudden, you get down there. You've got a half-field safety. He's got to defend you. If you go to his inside, he's got to cover that. And if you can get him weaved and head back out there, you can establish leverage on him. And so we could even alternate between these calls at the line of scrimmage. We would call it one way. We'd get up there, let them show their hand, and check to the way that was best against what they were doing. Now let's move on to the deep cross. And I've kind of heard three different ways that you coach this. So the way we used to tell our guys, Falcons and Bucks, hey, we're going to cross that opposite hash 12 to 15. We're going to be in the paint of the numbers 18 to 22, and that ball can be completed anywhere once you cross that hash out to the sideline. Some teams will say, hey, we want to cross three white lines before we start taking it across the field. And some people will say you want to chase the heels of the route on the opposite side. So as you're pushing vertical, you push that depth kind of 10 to 12 yards on your own hash, find that guy's heels and chase them. Creates kind of a good little mesh point over there. I can't do it justice with lines. Well, right here, McConkey crosses three white lines, pushes vertical. They've got zone coverage, and he's coming out flat against zone. And typically against zone, you want to take this thing a little bit higher. But what takes you higher is the underneath zone defenders. As those guys gain depth, you have to gain depth in turn away from them. And the best receivers, they understand how to get that depth away from these guys while not taking themselves to the deeper defenders to get covered. The most important player on this play is that single receiver. Whoever's running the deepest route in what becomes a three-level concept, right? That guy is the first level, second intermediate level coming from this deep cross, and you can see the chip release check down is the third level. The most important guy, the guy who's running that safety out of there, the corner out of there, the safety out of there, whatever he's doing to make sure that this high-low can happen here. If that corner can be a factor, if this guy isn't affecting the corner, well, now these guys don't need to get depth because this guy's already taken away, and your only option is to check it down. So this guy has to make sure that this turns into a 2-on-1 against this zone, against these zone defenders, having to figure out how they're going to space the field against the crosser and the check down. So McConkey right here, he says, hey, we've got all the space in the world. They're not getting great depth. I'm coming flat across the field. Put it on me. Really well done right there. You could imagine now if this is man coverage and you're coming across, we're going to tell our guys, hey, you got to bring this thing flat to friendly. Friendly meaning you're losing ground. You're coming back towards your own line of scrimmage. When you do that, you take away a man DB's angle of recovery. If he's right here on my hip, and he wants to undercut me and get across me, much easier if I'm bringing it up the field than it is if I'm bringing it flat too friendly. Again, a lot of lines. I hope I'm making sense right here. So right here, they got the guy open in the middle of the field. Let's talk protection now. And if they had stayed under center, they've got the play action fake to the left, the line sliding to the right. They've got these two down linemen and this Sam linebacker right here. If it's a rip or a slide to the right, it means your guard has to block the defensive tackle and your tackle has to block the defensive end. But let's take a look. 32 right here. He mugs up in this A gap. He's at the line of scrimmage in that A gap. And you can picture if these guys are going in this direction and he hits this thing, that back has got a lot of traffic between the quarterback and himself to get to that blitzer and get him picked up before he can be disruptive on the play. So your options would be a single squeeze, bringing this guard down and taking that mugged blitzer, sending your back to the defensive tackle, or you could double squeeze down, and send your back to the defensive end. Now, those are bad matchups, right? Your running back isn't paid money to block defensive tackles or defensive ends. Your line is. And so to keep your guys in their best matchups, Herbert says, I'm going to get in the gun. And if this guy blitzes, you've got him. Abandon that run fake. Just go hit him in his ear hole, wash him across the pocket. We're good to go. Now, ultimately, 32 backs out of there and doesn't blitz. They're able to keep the token run cell here from the gun. You'll see they've got the extra chip help receiver and tight end slowing down those defensive ends, right? Defensive ends, the best players on the field, slow them down. Nice clean pocket for Herbert to operate in, finds his man down the field for the explosive gain. So the Chargers discussing their options, they say, hey, that worked pretty good. We should do it again. So they come back out, and to disguise the play, they now start in the bunch and motion the receiver across next to the tackle. If you remember last time he was here, to the boundary, motion down into the exact same spot. They're going to use a slightly different protection here, but the exact same route combination. Let's start with Quentin Johnston on the pylon route. This is against one high man coverage, and you'll see how it's not so great against one high man. They've got that corner in press, and he is in outside leverage right here, and when you run that pylon down and back in, unless this guy takes the bait that you're crossing the field, you're running right back to leverage, and Johnston knows this. He knows he's covered, and he says, hey, my route really isn't all that important anymore, but my job certainly is. I got to turn on the jets and get this guy out of the play. Now take a look at McConkey coming across the field. He hits that foot in the ground. You'll see he drifts about a yard or two up the field, and watch the angle he takes right here. He is coming slightly friendly, slightly negative back towards that line of scrimmage. And the quarterback throws him even further back. He knows it's man coverage. He knows the only way this guy can stop this play with his outside leverage is if he gives him an angle of recovery. One, his quickness takes that away, and two, his angle takes it away. Let's take a look at the protection on this one. A little bit different than the last rep. This one's going to come off of a weak side, outside zone action, tight end slicing back across. He's responsible for this defensive end, and this is a tough ask of the tight end. If this guy's got a free run off the edge, you can imagine trying to find him, hit him on the move. He knows where the quarterback is. You don't necessarily. This guy's going to lose that battle more often than not. So when teams run this protection like this, they're going to keep that chip. They're going to chip this edge, make sure they slow this guy down, and as this guy's approaching, he will give this guy a verbal, audible cue. Hey, like, go, 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 go. I'm here. I can overtake the block. Thanks to the chip help. Now you can go get into the route. Everybody up front is essentially gapping in the direction of the call. So the line all responsible, tackle responsible for whoever shows up over his right shoulder, guard's right shoulder, center's got his right shoulder, guard, tackle. You get the picture, right? And the back is going to take any blitzer off the edge. Now, I say it's a gap protection. They've got ways to handle different blitzes up front, but for all intents and purposes, gap protection. You'll see Herbert going to set up in this B gap on his 7th step. Going to set up here. The pocket is moving, and right-handed quarterbacks going left. They're going to usually take that hitch and kind of buy some space back to the left side. Don't want to take themselves into trouble, so sets up in that B gap, allows him hitch over there to the left. Big explosive gain again for the Chargers. Everybody in the NFL has deep cross, highly effective play, good against virtually everything.